Alright everyone, welcome to episode 22 of the Green Room podcast. I'm joined by the Bodysnatcherz today, two members of Bad Arts Entertainment. I'm here with Shyson and Drubius Prime.
What's up? Oh, just to interject real quick, I'm dropping the BS Prime. It's just Drew now. Just Drew, or Drew Pack, if you like.
Very sorry about that, no, I'm just a little bit hungover, but give us a bit of fucking background into how you got into shit, and we'll go from there, I guess.
Do you want to go first, or will I?
I suppose, yeah. I mean, like, Drew and myself met there a long while back, wasn't it? Like 2016 or something?
Well, you might as well start where you started with music.
I suppose we start, the pair of us there, we can ask special extra questions about us individually. But no, I was making tunes, I was doing a bit of DJing, mostly DJing, to be honest, and I put on some like charity gig, fucking about 2016. Drew was one of the like heads, the cool hip hop heads about, one of the few, if you know what I mean. I'm sure he had like an extra fresh looking shirt on at the time as well, and that was kind of out of place for West Cork, you know, so. No, I was, someone suggested making beats, you know, and that he was one of the few rappers about, like. So I'd say it took about 3 or 4 years after that before we even got he got our shit together to meet up. Like,
so he sent me the odd like the beat packs and stuff like that, and just because I was on my bullshit at the time so much, I'd give a look at them and I might try and write one or two, but like we never got around to actually meeting up, and you know, meeting up is half what makes things happen.
Way handier, yeah.
So it was just an idea for ages until, when did we actually be all like, right, we're doing this?
I think it was like, let's say 2020, because it was definitely before the whole fucking like pandemic-y bullshit, you know. It was way before that, like.
That was it, we just decided to start doing it and then we got stopped dead in our tracks.
Yeah, we had shit like up and running, we had a few tunes kind of prepped. I'm sure we'd like just started to release songs, you know. We were like just about gigging stage, you know, we had the shit ready, we had it out, we had fucking stuff prepped for a gig, and then kind of shit kicked off. But that kind of half ended up suiting us in the end, didn't it? To be fair, like.
Probably gave you loads of time to actually work on stuff and
get some,
capitalise on it.
Get a back catalogue going, and instead of feeling like we're in a rush to put tunes out, it was like, alright, we got time to perfect these now, and fucking that kind of thing.
No, but I'd say like the first batch of tunes came out probably before COVID times, but like we had fucking like tunes from 3 years, 4 years, you know, stuff that we've been working on since like the first day we met there. You kind of spat a verse or something, I'm sure we ended up using one of those, you know.
I'm sure even I think half the stuff that we are doing now is like, not that I'm spitting the bars from when I was like 16, but I was still like recycling some of those, the gems that were lost in the bullshit, and he's still pulling out some old beats and touching them up, like, so, you know, it all went somewhere in the end.
It did, but I'd say now is the kind of time when we went through most of that shit, you know. Everything we're making now is like kind of to order almost.
Yeah.
Like we know what works from our old stuff, we know what doesn't, we know what we liked or what is just like not achievable, and we also know for gigs that we gotta like make tunes that might work well specifically for gigs, you know, as opposed to just fucking
like
piecing together stuff.
You know, like John B. Keane and Bob Ross, and those kind of like ones with a bit of speed with them, work better than the you know, the space la la fucking type shit. But like, there's gigs for that stuff too. Like, even that's why I was well comfortable doing it last night. It was like 4:20. It's a bunch of fucking potheads in the room, like sickened I couldn't convince them to waltz, but next time.
Oh, that would have been sick.
Yeah, it takes a bit of getting used to for them, like, you know, they have to warm up to you, they don't trust you.
Well, see, that's what I was thinking. I was like, if I wasn't the opener, if I was the second act, I could have convinced them to waltz, I'm pretty sure.
Well, that's just the way things go, I'm afraid, sometimes.
I'm not too sick, and I was just testing the reach of my powers too, you know?
I mean, at least there was people in the room, because we've all done empty rooms as well before, and it's fucking miserable. But yeah, at the start, you know, people are not naturally a bit, you know, they're not drunk enough yet, they're a bit anxious, they're waiting for someone else to go up there, and I've seen it a million times, like, once someone has the balls to get up and jump in front of the stage, then the rest usually follow after a while.
No, it helps to have the hype man and the crowd side of things too, you know. We can only do so much from the stage side, like. But,
it is funny being able to analyse crowds like that, especially with tunes too. It's like, what do they like, what do they not like?
Yeah. I was like, we were even talking there last night, like, and obviously there'll be a time and place to do it live too. Do you know that we don't have a proper name for it yet, but you know that banger, the beat, like it's really heavy and it's got a big slap off it, but it's slow, so it doesn't like give the oomph you'd expect from it. So we're like, alright, in future, instead of like using that as a banger tune, we might use it to lead into a banger tune. Or
is that the one with the fucking savage snare?
It's got the dude at the start being like, see, when you're doing crime, at least be honourable and respectable about it, you know, like that whole.
I can't remember, but
we're going back and forth. He's like the dead song, tell a friend.
It was what I hadn't heard before anyway, so just when the snare came in I was like, what the fuck, that's fucking class, like, that almost sounds like a beat I made.
Yeah, it's a good one, but it'd be a good one to drop into something heavier, like.
Yeah. I know that was one of those ones actually that I made on the fly, and because Drew does that, like I'd make some tunes that I think are just throwaway tunes and I play them when they're over, and then he's like, oh no shit, I can see exactly what to do with that, you know. And I think that was one of those ones that is definitely very raw, you know.
And that's why it's handy to have the two heads to bounce off each other with shit as well. Do you know what I mean?
You're always going to be your own worst critic on some level.
Yeah, but like, just seeing the flow that the other person wasn't thinking of, like, or something like that. Like I have a lot of beats from years ago, and because I listened to them so long, even though I try to think up of like different flows for doing them, it's like this one flow has buried itself into my head, and I really want to use the beat, but it's like my brain just keeps taking me one direction. So then if I give that beat to Shy and he figures out a new flow on it, then that'll inspire me to figure out more flows. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you get locked into the, like, once you've listened to the same song 1,000 times kind of thing, like, you get locked into it, and you know, it's like listening to your favourite song, and so you can't replace the lyrics, it's too late. You know?
That's why even the fucking army of beats there, I barely ever rap my own stuff, because by the time I'm done making it, I'm like, I'd rather do a beat trade and give that to someone else to get one of their beats off them, like, so then it's fresh for my ears.
You know?
Yeah, no, there's like so many fucking really, really good beats I've made, but I just couldn't fucking do them justice, or after a while I got sick of them, so I ended up just giving them away or selling them. And
like, don't get me wrong, like, there's a little folder of like passionate stuff that I've been having trouble with, but I refuse to give away. Like I'm getting tracks done on these one day.
Oh, the like secret background fucking
tracks. Actually, you have a few too. Like.
I think we all must have some, like, you know, when I die, release this album and everyone will think I'm class. You know?
There's a couple of those there. Kind of banking on MF Grimm being that before I die. We'll see.
You know.
So are you working on anything currently? You are working on a new project. I'm aware of that, but give a bit of info to the people.
So because we're like I suppose fucking on Bad Arts, but Bad Arts affiliate.
Yeah.
So we're fucking gonna be doing up our own record label, Stout Records, as well. And
they're in the Cork side of things, like,
bouncing around, still fucking working with the boys always. But so the next project we have lined up is for Bad Arts. It's 5 tunes, and that's pretty much done. We just need to put our heads down and get the final
masters and stuff.
Final masters and flares, and like record some extra ad libs, bits like that. Like we have the demo versions of all of them basically.
But
we reckon we get that done next week, and then it's just sending it off to get mastered by someone. And after that, then we have about almost 30 tracks stacked. Not all of them finished. Some of them are, they need the second verse to still be wrote or something like that. But
this is like 30 ones that will make the cut, if you know what I mean. But this will need work for sure. Like, but
there's like a couple of different sounds going around in them. So we're like, while we're releasing the Bad Arts and the first Stout stuff, that gives us time to kind of see what tunes go into what piles. As opposed to just throwing them all together, or just making 2 projects that are kind of slapped together. Do you know what I mean? So
that's it. Like, there's 3 or 4 types. There's like 3 types of fucking tunes we make. You know,
probably more.
Over the years, I was realizing there's like definitely the obvious old school boom bap, straight up as is. Like, there's the kind of more stranger, like, I hate to say it, but the like modern UK vibes a little bit.
Oh, you like UK hip, like even that one we did last night with the what's the sample at the start of Butterlong? Do you know Butterlong?
Yeah.
That one's got like kind of like fucking
it's like we're evil people out to fucking shit. What is that?
Yeah, it's like pure that beat reminds me of like Trillion and that kind of blah fucking direction of shit, like the slow kind of fucking just I don't know, man. There's something about it,
It's the same type of.
But then at the same time, we intend to keep doing like the Keenan Gats and Bob Ross is kind of more jazzy, funky stuff.
Keenan Gat is probably my favourite tune of the bunch.
And we'll be going back as well to like the darkish style, but just better production for it. Like, you know, that was the first thing we put out, and we just didn't spend the money into getting it fucking properly mastered or anything.
Oh, we had plans with that as well. You know, we knew like first batches of stuff, like
better to see how it's received first. Before.
Like we're not gonna be like the songs were done as is. Like we were happy with them.
The average years we don't
put them out, you know?
Generally, unless it's fucking mixed and mastered awfully. Like.
But my thinking with that as well is like, as long as we keep bouncing around, we do like some gritty boom bap, we do some funky boom bap.
Yeah.
We do like kind of like almost like southern style hip hoppy stuff with the, you know, with the Vicodins and shit like that.
Triplet.
So like as long as we keep using like all those styles, like we can't be pigeonholed into like these are just jazzy rappers or like they only do like old school beats.
So the Bodysnatcherz name could be misleading too, where they're just going to assume that they're like hardcore.
So that's something we're always trying to avoid. Like even
just trying to get the balance more than avoid, you know.
Even that's the reason it took us so long getting a logo. Now there's someone drawing them up for me at the minute, but we just like we just wanted to make sure that the logo is playful enough that it doesn't like add to that aesthetic already.
No, it's a fine line between like, you know, funny fucking creepy conspiracy theory kind of shit, B-movie vibes, and the whole kind of like it can go west fairly quick, you know. Facts. I'm not trying to be Brother Lynch Hung out here. You know.
There's nothing against Brother Lynch Hung. I fucking bump his shit all the time because One More Pound is my tune.
Refuse to Lose is a great song as well.
You know, I just don't want to be talking about nuts and guts too much on the.
No, we'll leave that up to Goblin Sharktooth and myself whenever I'm feeling down.
For sure, man. Yeah.
Facts.
You've talked about Bodysnatcherz, but obviously the pair of you were your own people before that.
Yeah.
Give us maybe a bit of background on how you actually got into like the whole rapping and production side of things.
Well, I deleted a lot of stuff offline, so you go first with this one.
I suppose. I got into DJing with my brother, because basically because I had opportunity to, you know.
Yeah.
Like the dude had the equipment and he had gigs set up, and it was like friends setting up the gigs for him, so everyone was sounding with each other. Got the like opening slot a few times. I just generally love tunes and stuff, so it was all like straight up fucking dubstep, man. You know, like dubstep, jungle, heavy on the kind of UK vibes with that side of things, like. But it was the MCing that was sick, you know. I always loved the MCing, like the proper like gig MCing, you know. So slowly but surely, then I was like asking to be doing those gigs with the lads more, you know. Fucking kind of going more in that direction. They went off their techno-y direction or whatever, like. But it was actually with those lads that I ended up doing that gig with Drew, the first one at the fucking at Myrtleville, that charity gig, you know.
Myrtleville gig,
but it was fairly soon after that I kind of realised, like, first of all, I'm not like a techno DJ, I'm not a dubstep DJ, I'm not a drum and bass DJ, you know. Like, I'm here making the tunes that I want to be playing at home because there's not enough of them out there, you know. It's fucking. I went fairly quickly from like DJing to production, you know, so I was just making the tunes I wanted to play basically, like. But the rapping thing didn't really kick off until Drew was on the scene, like. You know, I mean, the confidence, I suppose, literally, like, you know, I knew I was able to do it, but there was no fucking reason for me to be able to, like, I was happy just doing the production.
He very much just viewed himself as a producer, and he was showing me the bars that he'd write, like, oh, I had an idea for this one, so I wrote these, and I was like, dude, like, fucking top tier rapper, like, there's no need just pitching yourself, hold yourself, but, you know, his name is Shyson, like, so there's a confidence barrier to break, I'd say. Like.
I did that on purpose, so, you know, just confuse people, like, is he or is he not?
But, myself, man, I grew up in a, like, family with a lot of musicians anyway, but, like, even my dad is, like, a purist. I suppose throughout the years he's eventually started to accept hip hop just from seeing the skills from looking at my music, like, because he otherwise just wouldn't have looked at hip hop, like.
Fair.
But because he's one of those dudes that, you know, he can only hear the music, he can only hear the melodies and stuff, and the lyrics just go over his head.
But
because when I was younger, I seen him playing guitar and my brother playing guitar and everything, and I wanted to be able to do it. I was like, fuck it, you know, I want to be able to fucking play instruments. And I don't know, not to use it as an excuse, like, but you know, I'm a big ADHD head as well.
That does help actually.
I never had the focus, like, even when I was trying to learn guitar, like, just my fingers just get confused and I'd be like, you know, I'm like overloading my brain with the thoughts, like, so but from trying to learn guitar, I ended up learning bass, which became important once I actually was making my own beats and stuff. But so then, because I was getting nowhere with the instruments, I went trying to sing in bands. Which I think, even though I was big into hip hop, there's like, I was probably listening to my family too much at home, being like, that's not real music, boy. If you want to be a real musician, you need to have fucking this and that. And it wasn't until I actually, man, this is the funniest story of how someone could get into hip hop in the world. Like, I was already big into it, like, that got me started writing it was, I was writing all those lyrics for bands and shit like this, and then I was just playing around writing some raps. And then when I got into 5th year in secondary school, my English teacher was an absolute bore, and that gave me an extra drive to want to impress her anyway. So I started burying my head in English, but then once we got to the poetry section, not the studying the specific poets, because there's a lot of fucking, like Seamus Heaney. No offense to anyone who loves Seamus Heaney, but like, I don't want to listen to a dude just talk about turf all the time, do you know what I mean? But I started getting into, I got really, really interested when we started like doing the comprehension of poetry, like, and learning the techniques and shit like that, so I started bringing that into the raps that I was playing around with. But because before that I was like emulating DMX, and I was like the skinniest, smallest white 16-year-old fucking up on stage with like lyrics that had no punchlines or metaphors. It was literally just me being like, I'm pissed off and I'm gonna beat someone up. And you know, that was before I figured out how to rap in my own accent too, so it was me doing it in an American accent just to make it even worse.
Oh, sweet.
But
gotta start somewhere, man. That's the beginnings of a lot of us, to be fair.
A lot of people were doing that.
But it was when I was in that English class and she started going through all the writing techniques, I started drilling. I wasn't even writing proper songs so much as I write a verse that was all about using alliteration or something. So like, I remember this old ass verse. I can even spit a little bit here in the American accent and embarrass myself. But it was like, I just wanted to use the I sound as much as I could. So it was like, ice cold iris, die if you try this, high like the seas of a high times pirate, and all this shit, just to get the I thing going through. But and as shit as that was, then I did the same thing with like metaphors, just a verse that's all metaphors, so it's more like poetry than anything. I did a verse of all punchlines, I do verses of all multi-syllabic rhymes and shit like that. And like,
see, that's why you're the fucking rapper of the two of us then, like, more than, because like I kind of know of these things,
but eventually because I was just fucking writing songs for the sake of practicing a technique, I kind of got lost, and I lost the kind of concepts and why am I writing this song and like shit like that, like so that backed me away from it for a few years. Say when I was like 20 or something, I was still tipping away making beats, making the odd song, trying to like figure it out, and so then it was like just around 25 or something, after taking a step back and stopped doing any songs or any of those drills, when I started writing again, I was able to like merge all the stuff and use them in the right places, as opposed to just forcing an entire fucking song of multis. I'd be like, I'll do multis for this 4-bar section, I'll do like a quick metaphor here, a fucking punchline here, like, you know,
let it come more natural as opposed to sitting there and be like, I have to do this, I have to get it like that.
But for sure, I think I do the same thing with music theory, that sort of stuff. Like, if I'm doing the kind of like teaching myself something or learning, you know, it's very different to the making of the music side of things. So like, I'm learning it, but then I'm gonna have to bring that back, and how am I gonna apply all of that shit to specifically what I want to do? You know, they're like, it's definitely a whole transfer process of that fucking shit, because like, I'd be learning like music theory and that's great, but how am I gonna use a C minor chord in hip hop. You know, like you literally gotta go like,
There's
what do I want?
also-
I want the sad things. What's the sad chords? Right, how do I know them? I got these, and how, you know.
It's actually funny, man. One of the biggest advantages that I got from not knowing music theory
Yeah,
is, you know what I mean now, I flow switch a lot.
Yeah.
I bounce in between different flows, and I can rap on my different drums, like. I think I only like got that because I used to not know the theory of like rap and how you're supposed to hit the snare is the common one. Hit the snare every time, and after that you're getting technical.
Yeah.
But because I didn't understand any of that, and I'd been natural rhythm, I was just always rapping on the different drums or the wrong drums and shit like that. And then again is, you know, when all this shit comes together, when I actually learned that side of things, that you're supposed to be hitting the snare, I learned how to like do it at the right times, you know, hit the kick when it's appropriate, or flip back to the snare and like shit like that. So like,
but a lot of that's
not knowing the
flavour as well,
theory
like.
can fucking help out sometimes, man, you know.
Yeah, I'm pretty oblivious to a lot of it, even though I learned it in college.
But yeah, cause that's what musicians said to me my whole life, like my dad and everything growing up. He was like, the thing with theory is, so you want to learn it, but as soon as you learn it, you want to throw that information out of your head because it's rules, but there's plenty of exceptions to all those rules.
Yeah.
Do you know, like
at the end of the day, if it sounds good,
the both of
sounds
us,
good.
between the both of us, we're a pair of like uneducated musically fucking like chancers, you know. Like we actually don't know what we're.
A lot of
doing
hip hop heads are,
specifically.
but
Yeah,
it doesn't mean anything really. Like a lot of it,
No.
it's handy, but it's not necessary. Like there is ways around a lot of it. Like
No,
Well,
definitely. I mean,
it's
that's
probably
picked up what
overwhelming
we
when you
needed
see a lot of
first,
it too,
you know.
like.
to be fair, I would say this comes of underselling us here because he knows what the fuck he's doing with beats.
Yeah.
He's a serious out
Out
of
of
the
ears
beats,
though, you
and
know,
I
it's-
know what the fuck I'm doing with words. Like, so
Oh, you
between
do
the
that.
two of us, we're a fully functioning act. Like.
But it's definitely coming from more of a place of we know what we want to hear from other stuff, so we're making that for
Yeah.
ourselves as opposed to like doing what is technically right kind of shit. Because like even the formats and arrangement of songs, I know if I wanted to like hit the market correctly, I could like make a certain format of song that would suit your TikToks and it would have this side the chorus in this place. For sure, yeah. Like knowing that doesn't mean you gotta use it either though, you know.
Like that would be one of the things that draws me to artists like Tyler the Creator or something, is the off key chords.
Oh, yeah, it
Do you
always
know, like
is the most appealing
the
bit.
weird jazzy ones that's like, or he hits one note wrong or something.
Yeah.
But that makes it just sound it's more unique or something.
Mm.
I guess, you know?
To be
It's
fair,
not as clean cut.
we do
Yeah.
that on purpose sometimes. I'm sure it's happened where we've been listening to songs and going, that sounds a bit too clean. Can we like fuck it up a bit? You know,
It's
or
alright.
like that bass is too like normal and like effective. We
Well,
need to
we've-
make it rough.
We've one little project we're working on there at the minute. It's all made out of flips from Hey Arnold soundtrack.
Mm.
And what's it? The Hey Arnold soundtrack is gold.
it's so good. It's uncalled for good, man. It's seriously.
But what was it that like we got like a few of these? There's like this one little pretty piano hit, and then it's just got the deepest bass note hits in the middle of it in a weird place. But it actually, that's what makes me love that beat.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
But Hey Arnold was a bit like freaky and eerie as well, you know.
Yeah.
There's something fucking
Oh yeah,
vibey about that.
we went
like.
watching episodes for inspiration, and
That shit's darker than I
Jesus
remember,
Christ,
man.
man. Pigeon Man definitely committed suicide.
Oh yeah,
I'll tell you that right
There's this
now,
whole
dude.
stoop kid, man. This little child was abandoned on a stoop and just lived there his whole life. And like, I mean, there's more to it, I'm sure, but that show's dark.
All those shows, man, they didn't treat kids like they were fucking brain dead, like, and
Yeah,
they
exactly.
actually did teach and display real shit, like, and
Yeah.
they weren't nearly as PG. Sure, like I was looking at fucking pictures of I don't know why it's coming up on my Facebook, but like it's like babes of Power Rangers, and it's showing all the girls and that, and like the clothes they're wearing, the most skimpy tiny outfits. I'm like, now I know why I like girls that was watching that shit. Like, it's like now they'd be wearing fucking wetsuits, like.
It's like
man.
Boondocks is one of my favourite shows in
Yeah, I
the
love
world.
Boondocks.
That's
And
a serious
if you try and
show, though.
show a lot of fucking, I don't know, I'm in Ireland, so I'm just gonna say showing these fucking soft white people Boondocks. they automatically assume that what you're laughing at is like Uncle Ruckus being racist, and you love that so much, and people like it goes over their heads that show is so fucking socially aware, and it's got like economic lessons in it, and it's fucking proper. It's like
That one in
it's
particular.
like, dude, if you really
like
understood the struggle the people over there are going through, you'd understand the show a lot better than thinking
And
it's
made by, you know, people of that community, so I don't think anyone in our side of the fence can tell.
Magruder's a fucking real one. Because
Uncle Ruckus though probably is my favourite character in the show. Like,
well, you know they originally. I could be spreading misinformation here, but I don't think I am. But originally, Uncle Ruckus was supposed to be white, and they just weren't letting him do that. So he was like, "Fuck it, I'll make a black character that just thinks he's white."
Fair enough, yeah. No, that the voice actor is fucking Stevie's father in Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah.
You know that guy, yeah.
Yes.
There's a clip of him at like some Comic-Con dressed up as Uncle Ruckus, like, and he's just going up to people
waving the Confederate flag.
Fucking brilliant, man.
There was talks of making an Uncle Ruckus live action movie.
Yeah, that this was part of that. I think they were raising funds for it or something like that, but it never happened, unfortunately. But no, that show was gold. Fucking, I discovered it years ago and I never heard of it. None of the lads had heard of it either. Like, this fucking shit is brilliant. Like, where can you even watch it? Like,
yeah, don't get me wrong. Like, when I was 14 and I first discovered it, I was laughing at the racism too, just because I wasn't fucking. I was still ignorant. I was 14, like, but it was as I started getting older. When I was 16 was when I started proper clicking the like economic lessons in it. So I could see I could see the social lessons in it beforehand, but like fucking.
Yeah, no, you have to be. It's quite universal like that. It's like, you know, any age group can fucking laugh at it because there's so many different aspects to it.
It's like even with my last watch through of it was when I started seeing Wunsler, Dad, Ed Wunsler, the first or something, or the second, and I think the third is Eddie Murphy, or not Eddie Murphy,
Charlie Murphy,
Charlie Murphy's character, yeah. But like, I didn't notice for years the way that the end of every episode where he's ended up everyone else's fucking fuck ups. He set up and then he's buying up more and more of the property. Like, it's like fucking by the end of the show he just owns fucking everything. Like, or the lemonade stand episode where he fucking he buys a lemonade stand on the promise that he'll give your one a pony, but in the contract it's like when she sells the lemonade only 0.0% goes towards buying the pony, and then that's never enough to keep up for the maintenance of feeding the pony and shit like that. So she ends up indebted, so he gets the lemonade shop and the pony. It's like proper economic lessons in that show, man.
It's all about the music and that shit as well, though. Like, that's one of the main things, cause like,
or the Itis episode. You know the Itis episode where they're all fucking so the granddad starts making like mad soul food, but mad unhealthy fucking shit, like mac and cheese on top of a burger and fucking shit like this, just disgusting, like too far. And all the community start gaining or mad weight, like fucking. But they treat it like a drug in the show. Like, they end up putting beds in the restaurants, and there's like junkies who just want their burger, and they run off into the park then. But because of that, in the background of the episode, it's showing you that the community is like falling apart.
Yeah.
And then when he has to shut down the shop because of a lawsuit, because one of the ones who ruined her life on these crack burgers ended up getting lipo, and she came back and made them pay the medical bills and all this, and the shop gets closed down. And then you see because the park next door had become like a fucking crack den, property values went way down, and that Ed Wunsler dude buys it all up. Do you know what I mean? So his plot all along when he invested in the restaurant was to fuck up.
See, I haven't seen it in sequence, so I didn't know there was actually like kind of a plot line in the background kind of going on the whole time. So that's pretty cool.
No, there's two phases with that show for me. Definitely the early phases when I was young, and then like watching it again, going like, oh shit.
I had the same with Sopranos, and watching the first time at 16, I just wanted to see gangsters shoot each other, and then the second time, understanding a lot of stuff, and like the family elements, and just how it's so, even though it's about gangsters, it's so true to life in every aspect. And like, I think any human being, whether you're a father, a son, a grandfather, a daughter, you can totally understand people's experiences in it, which is not easily done. I've never seen that really in any show.
That's why no matter how much of a villain he is, fucking Tony Soprano is relatable.
No, totally, man.
That's it, man. That's it. We all know them vibes, like, we all know.
I am literally Tony Soprano.
Yeah.
Or at least I wish it was.
In about half an hour, you're gonna be saying you're Scarface.
No, I'm literally Ryan Gosling.
Yeah. No, there is a running theme though with the tunes in all of them shows as well. Like, even in The Sopranos as well. Like it's vibey. Vibey as fuck, and that's something that we're always looking for with it is like, you can have your clean, sick, boom bappy tracks, no matter, and I love that, just like perfectly clean and straightforward and fucking does the job, but it's gotta have something freaky, I think, to it for us, you know.
Yeah, so
there's a lot of dark shit going on in all of them shows as well, and all the movies that we love. Like,
have you seen Mr. In Between?
No.
It's like this. It's it was an Australian little short movie, but then it got called The Magician, about an assassin. Dude, do you know like independent project man pretty much did it himself.
Yeah.
But then because that was such a good idea, I think FX or Fox in America, FX I think, they're the same thing. But anyway, one of those channels picked it up and put him on, and the show is just about like he's a hitman and he is completely like sociopath, no emotion with the hitman thing. But he's like these people like, but not even that way. He's got like a criminal principles.
Yeah.
So he's like, these people fucked up and they knew what they were doing. It's just my job to do this. But then he's got like a fucking a missus and a kid and all this shit, and it's like. It's like his principles are actually dead on, and he's like in it fucking. It's just man, it's well worth a watch. Like it's like fucking, you know, it'll just get you thinking kind of thing of like,
who's the bad guy?
Is he right? There's fucking one point he's in anger management and he's talking about fucking slapping the heads off two fiends, and the anger management dude is like, oh, well, what? It's because they were because they're arseholes or whatever, and he's like, yeah, and he's like, you can't just go around slapping or beating up arseholes. There's always going to be arseholes, and he was like, yeah, but that's why, because no one fucking baits them up.
Shit.
You know, so next time these two fucking cunts go walking down the street and they think, oh, I'm gonna fuck with someone, they'll think twice. And your man's like, so in your head you've done society a favour, and he's like, yeah.
No,
it's like kind of end of argument there too.
You can fucking tell straight off when someone hasn't gotten a good slap in life, but at that stage, if they're at this stage in life, it's just not even worth it. It's like, yeah, you're someone else's problem, man. Unless obviously they're taking it too far. But
I wouldn't go around giving people slaps just for being arseholes. But you know, if there's someone
else will get around to it, like,
you know, like small man syndrome, and like just because people don't want to hurt them, they get away with fucking trying to steamroll everyone all the time. It's those cunts. I don't care if they're 40, they still need a slap.
Yeah,
and
bully them,
and that slap will fucking actually put them back in their box, like, you know.
It's only when people fucking like people who clearly haven't been around or dealt with violence in at least a very long time, when they start bringing up all that fucking like violence, anger shit. It's like, dude, you know, it's very fucking see-through, like, you know. The way people can have body language.
No one wants to hit you. Why are you?
And no one wants to be dealing with that shit as adults either. Like, it's just fucking.
But it's the immaturity thing. 'Cause most people do fucking cop on after a while, you know.
Generally.
Most people at kind of our age, like, I think we're kind of getting to that stage now where, you know.
You'd think, anyways, but yeah, for the most part.
I'd like to say I'm mature now, but yeah.
Yeah, ups and downs, man. You know,
all phases, man. Yeah, I'm in and out.
Eric, lads, we'll never be perfect. You know,
I'm very good and moral some days, you know. And
you should always be working on yourself. The cunts you gotta worry about are the ones that stopped working on themselves.
That's it, man. It's never fucking too old to be learning, you know.
Do you have anything else you want to shout out or promote before we close up the episode?
Shout out, promote,
for sure, you know. I mean, fucking Start Thing's only going to be starting, really, and we're not going to be making a big deal of that per se.
Yeah.
But the projects that we're going to be doing for it are like, we're going to be repping them big, you know. Because I said the Start Thing's kind of in the hands of the gods at this stage, whatever, other business folks. So like, we're just going to be doing some serious projects over the next months that will be coming out over the next year, over the next 12 months, like.
Fair.
And it's probably like, not probably, it's definitely the best stuff we've done. It's like the cleanest, most efficient fucking.
You'd want that anyways.
Correct,
generally, you should be upgrading each time you release a project for the most part. Like,
well, that's it, you know.
We want it to be super clean, super professional. We've no date to give people at the moment, but promises. Fucking, there is a lot of good stuff on the way.
Oh, it's happening this year though.
A lot of good stuff on the way.
We can guarantee that, you know.
We got bad art shit. Fucking, we got stout shit.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have fucking features with fiends from around the country.
Oh yeah.
Maybe an international one, and we might be on fucking some of the festival runs this year, but I'm not gonna say any names at the minute in case that all falls through.
Yeah.
As it tends to
but,
be. You know.
But yeah, so things are very much on the up and up.
Yeah, it's a year of activity now this year, you know. We've had a lot like stocked up for the past
Yeah.
2 years that we're just putting out drips and drabs, but at this stage all that stock is like processed, pretty much done. We're a month off from just starting to fucking drop shit now and pushing mad energy into it, you know.
Fair.
It's fucking it's been building up like, but as I said, the stock's full now. We need to fucking move that shit out before we can start doing shit, you know.
Yeah, so follow my Instagram on Trubiest Prime. Follow this lad, Shyson, and as a group we are the Bodysnatcherz. So
Body
Bad
snatching.
Arts Entertainment as well. Don't forget to follow them.
Oh, for sure, man. The OG hosts.
Yeah.
You know.
as long as you follow all that stuff, you'll be kept up to date, and you will see all this magnificence as it's coming out.
Thanks for coming on, lads. Really appreciate it, and I'll
Nice,
catch you
man.
very soon.
It's a pleasure, great man, every time.
Catch
Kiss,
you next
kiss.
one, babes.